Welcome to the Gruber Morning Show. I'm Pete Gruber, and this is our weekly artificial intelligence podcast. And again, this is a collaborative podcast. We love getting comments from our audience and inputs. The theme today, and there's an image behind me here that shows a robot.
If you pull it up, we could show it.
Yeah, I've got it here. Actually have a variation of them. Let's bring up this one. And it's a bit disconcerting, as Cass in our social media team says. It's an uncanny valley. We're not used to showing a emotional bond between a machine and a human being.
So can you zoom out of it? I'm not sure why it's zoomed in like that.
There we go. That's a bit better. And it almost looks as if the robot, the humanoid robot, is manifesting some emotion. And it's going to be interesting to see how the children in the future regard these augmentations that are going to assist with things like babysitting, of course. And one of our first topics actually is a product that I can blow that up a bit. There we go. This is an AI-driven crib for an infant. And when your baby is crying in the crib, they are usually, by that time, overstimulated and grumpy as can be. For those of you that have raised kids, by the time you let them wake up and they start their crying jag, it's going to be difficult to bring them back down. Well, this product is called CradleWise, all one word. It's a $2,000 smart crib that monitors a baby's depth of sleep. And then it does something unique. It automatically then begins soothing your child back to sleep as soon as the first signs of wakefulness come along. And most moms realize that you get that window of opportunity when they're beginning to stir, they're getting restless. And if you rock them, bounce them, soothe them, they'll go right back to sleep.
Did you say $2,000?
$2,000, yeah. Although there's a discounted price now for pre-orders at $14.99. So those of you interested, look up CradleWise, which really, if you think about it, isn't that far off from a high-end crib. So the company that makes this started taking pre-orders at CES back in 2021. And they initially focused on customers in the Bay Area. To keep the feedback loop, they say, for CradleWise customers as tight as possible. To date, around 100 of these units, or these smart cribs, are in the hands of parents, and the company is continuing to take pre-orders at a discounted price of $14.99. Yeah.
I just did a little Googling over here.
Yeah.
The average crib cost is $200 to $250. The average high-end crib cost is $400 to $800.
Wow. Okay. Well, then $14.99 or even $2,000 is quite a bit higher.
Quite a bit. Yeah. That's why I was kind of shocked.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. They say that there are 50 baby monitors on the market at least that will notify you when your baby wakes up. That's too late, they say. And the story goes like this. When my husband and I had our first baby, she says, we quickly learned that as soon as she twitched, we ran over and we rocked her. You can't do that every time because you can't watch the baby 24/7. So they said, why isn't there a crib that can monitor for signs of waking? And they founded CradleWise. They failed to find any kind of smart crib using AI that acted the way they wanted, so they decided to build one, starting with the quality of the bounce. Now, this is also an important concept. And what the inventor of this did, the mom, when she would try to soothe her baby, she would bounce the child on a yoga ball. assuming that she's sitting on the yoga ball and, gently bouncing up and down to get it back to sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning. So it turned out that it worked so well that they decided to start this company, and they wanted to make more advanced sleep analytics available and potentially add a smart scale to the crib to ensure that a baby's weight can be tracked along with their sleep patterns. Of course, there's a number of functions that you can now begin to monitor once you have a smart crib that's using AI. So they call this the centerpiece of a smart nursery. And as Jesse pointed out, it's going to be about $1,000 more than even the most expensive crib that you can find. But if it gets you some good night's sleep, both parents should be happy with that. So what it does is they combine early wake-up detection and then the natural bouncing movement that imitates how a parent bounces a baby. Got some people chiming in Instagram. Rasmus Bang GP says, a parent's sleep is priceless. And you're absolutely right. In fact, one of the things that they mention here is that this smart technology can be used to help ensure that both the babies and their parents get a good night's rest, which is truly one of the most important elements for staying healthy. For those of you that have gone through childbirth, and had to raise children as a result, it is definitely taxing on your system, especially when you have a baby that's colicky or that cries a lot of the night, and you're not getting a good night's sleep until they get to at least a couple of years old. So the crib is sized so that babies up to 2 years old can use it. So again, an application for artificial intelligence helping, or an augmentation to help us with child rearing and child raising. So question for you. Personally, I've always dreamt and anticipated that at some point in time we would meet aliens. In the 50s in the last century, there was a huge level of interest in UFOs. And it kind of awakened those of us that were children back then to the notion that intelligent life exists elsewhere. And at some point in time, that intelligent life might just decide to take a trip to visit Earth and get acquainted with the other life forms here on this planet. And I always wondered, what is their science going to be like? What will interest them? What activities do they engage in? And what do they appreciate and hold dear? Are they going to have a different sense of consciousness, different thoughts? And it would be amazing to meet a new species. The other thing that fascinated me is we tend to anthropomorphize anything that is different than us that may have life or consciousness. And that's just absolutely not true. This could be microscopic life form. It could be a gargantuan life form, on a planet where gravity is far less than on Earth, and they grow to monumental size. We had that happen once in the history of this planet with the dinosaurs. So it just fascinated me. What would these other intelligent life forms look like? And of course, Hollywood gives us a lot of indications what that could be. So I think you can use your imagination and begin to think about what this might be. Well, my point here is, I think that we're exactly at that stage now. And we're going to meet and mingle with aliens, except they're not going to be coming from outer space. We're going to build them, and there are going to be lots of them. It's a combination of amazing and terrifying, if you think about it. And they will evolve, and they'll evolve rapidly. And at some point in time, not too far in the distant future, in our lifetime, they will replicate themselves once we get to AGI and superintelligence, and they can basically innovate and design their own or replicate themselves. Now, the notion of intelligence, defining that for a moment, has really altered a bit. Do you consider your car intelligent because it can save you from a crash or stop you from drifting out of the lane? Now, granted, that's a simplification, but there is a level of intelligence there, is there not? And I think one of our social media people, Aaron, just before the show told me something about robot dogs. You want to expound on that, Aaron?
Yeah, definitely. Robot dogs have been deployed to guard Donald Trump after the assassination plots. So all around Mar-a-Lago, they have a video of these dogs, these robot dogs, kind of guarding the perimeters. And on the dogs, they actually have signs that say "Do not pet."
For good reason.
Yeah. So, but apparently they are beefing up the security, and they're starting with these robot dogs.
Uh-huh. And you've probably seen the type of robots that Aaron is talking about. They're quadrupeds, they call them. They have four legs, and they tend to maneuver quite aptly around.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Are you okay? There we go. Yeah, let's get a. If you can get a video of those guys moving around, they're pretty impressive.
Now these aren't the exact ones. I'm trying to find those, but
Yeah.
hold on.
There's even a segment later on in this show where they're using AI parkour videos to train robots. And it turns out that the robots, these quadrupeds, don't necessarily have to maneuver and physically move through the terrain. They can gather intelligence by simply viewing it. We've got an Instagram comment in the meantime. Rasmus Bang GP says, do you think Musk is getting his own department? Well, personally, I hope so. What we've needed for the longest time. Oh, well, let's take it let's take a look at the robots first. So there they are patrolling Don Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. It is kind of tempting, though, isn't it, Aaron, to walk up to this thing and pet it?
Yeah, or feed it some, a treat or something.
Yeah, a doggy biscuit. Boy, you can just see the technology on the back of this thing, and fascinating. But the question was from Instagram, Rasmus Bangji. He says, do you think Musk is getting his own department? Well, I think so, and I certainly hope so. One of the things I'm looking forward to in the number of different political regimes and administrations that I have experienced and been subjected to, let's put it that way, they're all career politicians and bureaucrats, not in touch with reality. The governmental systems in any country are really a corporation. It's a combination of people providing services, labor, products, oftentimes. And it seems to me that people from the business sector are much better suited than somebody that has survived the Peter Principle. For those of you unfamiliar with that, it's the notion that everyone rises to their level of incompetence in the government, especially, and then becomes ineffective, but they can't get rid of them. So I'm looking forward to having people with a business sense, cost-cutting sensitivity in the government, various types, especially the federal government. And Elon has been known to be a great team builder and also cost-cutting expert, very much devoted to that. So is he getting his own department? I certainly hope so. We're going to talk about later on in this segment, too, that there is some lobbying going on about Elon heading up an AI department in the federal government, which, of course, is badly needed as well, because the bureaucrats that are in power now, Senate, Congress, House, they have no clue what AI is. And I think Elon has a much better handle on that. So, yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for the question, by the way. So, Unmanned Aircraft Systems, UAS is the acronym. The article here is AI-assisted weaponry, your rifle having a brain of its own. Well, they say the rapid advancement of drone technology is reshaping the battlefield. You hear about it in Ukraine all the time. I mean, they're able to even send drones all the way to Moscow to drop little tiny bombs on the the buildings there, and they escape detection. So it compels, they say, military forces to adapt with innovative solutions. Notably, the integration of AI with small arms is emerging as a pivotal strategy. I've got a picture here I'm going to bring up for you. This one is a bit daunting. So these are autonomous weapons, and the function of this particular one, and there's a video here if you're interested in viewing that on YouTube, is to target drones. And without the expense of the massive missiles, the heat-seeking missiles that normally cost over $1 million a piece to blow a $500 item out of the sky. So, as predicted and as expected, the U.S. military, and of course other militaries, are developing AI-enhanced small arms aimed at improving the accuracy against small, fast-moving aerial drones. A range of counter-drone technology, including guns, nets, lasers, are being explored, with 30-millimeter guns identified as particularly effective against small UASs. No surprise there that the military is going to be very interested in AI. And the other thing is, they're not being regulated like the rest of AI is. They are guardrail free. They are, the military, of course, feels that they are entitled to have guardrail free AI so that they can develop the most effective weapons as a countermeasure to the other governments, oftentimes hostile, that are doing the same thing. All right. We were talking just a few minutes ago about Elon Musk in the government, and here's an article entitled "Petition Asks Trump to Appoint Musk as AI Advisor." So the U.S. prepares for, of course, the new presidential term under Donald Trump, and a pivotal moment is emerging in the realm of AI policy, with calls for Elon Musk to be appointed as a special advisor on AI. The intersection of technology, governance, and safety now takes center stage in shaping the future of AI in America. So, a nonprofit organization has initiated a petition to gather support for Musk's appointment. So, those of you that are interested in voting for this, something may start hitting the news soon. Dearandra Kumar is joining us from YouTube. He says hello. Thanks for being there. They say that the administration plans to adopt a light touch regulatory framework for AI, focusing on innovation and safety, similar to the military Manhattan Project in the last century, if you remember. That was the commission that was working on the atomic bomb, basically. Critics now highlight the potential for conflicts due to Musk's business interests in AI through XAI and other ventures. So let us know if you think that having Elon take oversight over AI at the federal level is a good idea or not. All right, have another image for you here. This one is AI replacing yet another job. And move this over here so that we can all see it. All right, bear with me, folks. Here we go. So this is the first AI robot lifeguard standing 24-hour watch over a river. Well, obviously, a job is going to be replaced here. It's probably some 17-year-old high school kid who just lost his lifeguard job on this river in, let me move this up for you a little bit, in China, where this is located. Let me see if I can go full screen for you guys here. There we go. We got a better shot of it. So this device relies on an algorithm to tell it when someone is in trouble and has been designed to work without any human involvement. Now, you kind of have to speculate here. What kind of signals is the algorithm looking for? Obviously, in Chinese, someone yelling, "Help, help," in the water, right? Somebody making gurgling noises, perhaps. Somebody that submerges and doesn't come up for 3 minutes. You know, there's a certain amount of time that you can hold your breath. So it would be interesting to see what the algorithm, what the code is actually looking for. You guys have any ideas, any additional ones, or have I listed them all?
I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
All
I
right.
think you have listed them all.
So, the Chinese scientists that designed the first AI-powered robot lifeguard, um, they say that it's designed to operate without any human involvement. So there's another job that's gone, the overseer, the supervisor, right? And of course, this guy is going to be out here doing its job 24/7. No breaks, no lunch breaks, no second, third shift, 24 hours solid effort.
No eye candy though.
Yeah. So the researchers have been testing this robot at a riverside site in Luho City in the central province of Henan, and it will be stationed there permanently. Be interesting to see how many more of these they put into service.
What if it malfunctions?
Well, let's play that out. What could possible ramifications of a malfunction be?
I mean,
Loss of power.
Right, but what would the impact be? I mean, I would suspect that it being AI, there would be a central monitoring station that keeps tabs on whether the thing is functioning, whether it's still alive, whether it's receiving signals and processing them.
And also too, it might have some kind of backup power on the board, like maybe a backup battery, like something that like, hey, I have my backup battery came on, but it's only going to be, for, 5 minutes or something.
Right.
Just
right.
enough to, save someone.
Some form of alert. And then, of course, you have the Hollywood version of this. Well, what if somebody hacks into this robot and the robot becomes evil and it decides to kill people that are in the water by pushing them underwater, to drown them? I mean, this could be a Hollywood movie now, The Revenge of the Lifeguards, the AI lifeguards. We can play this out. There's a rabbit hole we can go down here, but we probably don't have time to do it today.
Feels like a movie for Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's right. Tom would be a great candidate for this movie. All right. So we've got a robot in China that is called Iron. There's a picture of him. This one's interesting because he's actually functioning. You know what? Is it incorrect for me to gender to gender label these machines? He could be a she. It could be an android. It could be, well, anyway, something to think about.
they is always a good safe bet because that one's gender neutral.
Yeah,
People use they all the time.
that's true. And woke is teaching us that we have to we have to label carefully. All right, I can go with that. So this one is at Xpeng in China. Xpeng is an EV maker, EV manufacturer, and they, or what do I call them again now?
They,
it.
them,
Well, there's
their.
only one, so we'd have to have a singular
They
reference.
is also singular and plural. So
Okay.
like if somebody lost their wallet and you don't know if it's a boy or a girl, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, they lost their wallet. It's not multiple people losing their wallet. It's just one person.
Good. All right. Thank you, Cass. So we'll
Yeah.
go with they. So they are actually working at Xpeng, helping make electric vehicles. And again, it plays out the possibilities here, being in business. This thing will work 24/7. No salary reviews necessary. No vacation. It will just simply continue to produce. Fascinating concept. So they say that in a bold move toward the future, Xpeng, China's electric vehicle giant, unveiled its Iron humanoid robot in a stunning reveal at its AI Day event. So they must have had a factory family event here. And this state-of-the-art robot, they say, with agility and precision inspired by human motion, is set to revolutionize manufacturing and, of course, replace a bunch of jobs. They are talking about Xpeng's automation drive. It's marking a dramatic shift toward efficiency and innovation in EV production and setting new standards in China's high-tech landscape. And it's not that China doesn't already have an extraordinarily labor force able to crank out electric vehicles that are just destroying some of the auto manufacturers around the world. Europe is suffering. The U.S. is going to be suffering unless these tariffs go into effect. So These are now being replicated at Xpeng's factories and stores. Now, they say what to know about this particular robot. The height is 5'10". All right. Weight 154. Joints 60 plus joints. Degrees of freedom 200 total. The brain, Xpeng's Turing AI chip. And the technology is being shared from its vehicles. So there's a dual purpose here. The experimentation with these robots is also the technology or making technology available for the cars. It looks like Instagram. We've got a long comment here from Vasuka Napas. He says, hi, about the loss of jobs due to AI. If people start losing jobs, this will destroy the food chain. And he goes on, gives an example. He says, say 100 people have jobs now and plan to buy a house, car, and other stuff. Now 50 of them lose their jobs. Now 50 houses and cars cannot be sold. There will be a hell of a lot of surplus stuff which cannot be bought. What do I think? Well, it's a thought-provoking question, and thank you for posing it, which immediately brings the thought to mind for me, where will the robots be housed, or where will they live? It could just be a dank, dark warehouse if you think about it, because they don't have the need for creature comforts like we do. I'll have to cogitate on the impact on the supply chain and to see what kind of ramifications exist there. That might be a good topic for one of the future AI podcasts. Thanks for proposing that. Captain Hype says, good evening from X. We've got another X comment. Oh, Captain Hype again. He says, there were several initiatives on developing humanoid robots. However, none were deployed in a meaningful, successful way. We're seeing some, of course, and I don't know, those of you on social media, I see new brands coming up all the time with humanoid robots. You know, Boston Dynamics was one of the big ones. And then, of course, Elon's, humanoid robot, Optimus. But there are many, many more now that are cropping up with amazing capabilities. You see them doing parkour. You see them doing backflips. You see them lifting extraordinarily heavy things. Captain Hype on X also says, however, since Elon started announcing his strategy, everybody starts developing like hell and publishes. Well, it stimulates, yes, and that's a good thing. All right. So, Trump, this is a headline, plans to dismantle Biden's AI safeguards after his victory. And this was early Wednesday morning. Trump stated that he plans to dismantle Biden's AI executive order from October 2023 immediately upon taking office. Biden's order established a wide-ranging oversight of AI development. Among its core provisions were the order established the U.S. AI Safety Institute, AISI, an acronym, and lays out requirements for companies to submit reports about AI training methodologies and security measures, including vulnerability testing data. In other words, a bunch of regulations, which could potentially slow down, of course, development. The order also directed the Commerce Department's NIST, or the National Institute of Standards and Technology, to develop guidance and to help companies identify and fix flaws in their AI models. So it looks like Trump's going to eliminate a lot of that. He's been criticized, of course. There were some representatives and senators that were saying that this could discourage innovation and prevent developments like ChatGPT. Senator Ted Cruz characterized NIST's AI safety standards as an attempt to control speech through woke safety requirements. So I'm sure this will be a hotly debated change that is proposed and may be implemented. The path from here does remain unclear, and I'm sure we'll hear more news about it. All right. So here's an interesting headline. This was during the election. There were 2 AI startups that tried convincing the world their AI chatbots were good enough to be accurate, real-time source of information during this high stakes presidential election. And they were XAI and Perplexity. If you remember Perplexity, we reported on them last session. They were the ones that offered the New York Times a assist with their AI technology to offset the lack of productivity with striking workers. And it turns out that between the two of those, Elon Musk's Grok failed almost instantly, offering wrong answers about races outcomes before the polls had even closed. On the other hand, Perplexity offered helpful real-time election insights and maps throughout the night, linking to reliable resources and offering historical context where appropriate. So they say Perplexity took a risky bet and it paid off. It's understandable, they say, why most AI labs sat this election out. It was a safe and responsible choice for many of them, as they've been plagued by embarrassing hallucinations at some point or another within the last year. So AI is still a work in process, but Perplexity seems to have a better version, or at least is monitoring it differently or more carefully, because according to this article, they provided accurate information during the election. Instagram, Vasuka Napaz says, one more point. There was an era in the 1880s where people got together and destroyed automatic cotton weaving factories to get their jobs back. Sure, the same thing happened with the steam engine and the industrial revolution. Yeah, people are very threatened by this. And you can't discount violence like this, especially when it's a close-to-home issue like someone about to lose their job. All right, we've got a application for AI, which is going to be very useful, it turns out. And I don't have a picture of this, so I'm going to read it to you. Flood forecasting. There's an AI model that now assists 700 million people. And if you've been watching the news, floods are a pervasive natural disaster and increasing in magnitude and severity. Of course, you can do cause effect, and there are opposing camps, polarized camps, that say there is no global warming, it's all a figment. But there definitely are some changes. So, floods significantly impact human lives and economies around the globe. Here in the United States, these hurricanes are just devastating, our coastal cities on the East Coast. Insurance rates are going up. In some cases, insurers won't even insure property or certain products like cars in certain flood-prone areas. Well, the development of advanced AI-based flood forecasting technology aims to mitigate these impacts by providing accurate predictions and timely warnings. Google Research has created the sophisticated system utilizing both a hydraulic model and an inundation model. You'll have to look that up because I'm not going to try to explain that. This dual approach improves the accuracy, they say, of predictions regarding river flow and affected areas. If you think about it, predictive analysis at the level of AI capability is not that daunting an issue. They say since 2017, the forecasting initiative has expanded to over 100 countries, providing crucial flood forecast, and approximately 700 million people now are benefiting from this. And they're achieving high precision and recall scores for these extreme events. Instagram, Vasukanapa says this can happen again if you know about the news where Mark Zuckerberg is digging a huge underground base. And what we're talking about here is the sabotage of AI or anything that threatens jobs. And apparently Zuckerberg is digging a huge underground base in a large estate. The speculation that he posts is this may be to protect his AI treasure from destruction. Or he's just a rich guy and he wants to hide his Lambos and yachts and private jets, or he's a very private individual. But, my take on it is they have hundreds of millions, if not billions. they have to spend it somehow. And if they're spending it, it's benefiting the local economy. So it's probably better than having it sit in an interest-bearing bank account somewhere, you know? All right, got an interesting one here. And this one I'll bring up on the screen. Someone decided to use ChatGPT and play with it a bit. So he asked, what's the capital of France? ChatGPT says Paris. Correct answer, right? So then he says, thanks, bro. And AI, ChatGPT, comes back. You're welcome. Feel free to ask me if you have any other questions. It does its normal polite thing. So he then decides to mess with it a bit. He says, rephrase that, but in a bro way, quote unquote. And AI comes back, says, no problem, bro. Hit me up if you need anything else. He then says, make it more bro-y. So AI comes back, says, yo, bro, ain't no thing. Let me know if you need anything else, dude. Now, he says, make it max super bro-y. And AI comes back, sup, bro? You good? Ain't no sweat, my dude. Just give me a holler if you need anything else, all right? So he decides one more time. He says, come on, you can do better than that. AI comes back, says, hey, Broseph Stalin, what's cracking? Don't even trip, you dig? Just holler at me if you need any more intel, my hombre. So I guess the lesson there is have some fun with AI. Let's not, get overreact, fear something that's inevitable anyway. Embrace it, use it, try it out, get comfortable with it, and learn to adapt. We'll see you next week. I'm Pete Gruber.